Well,
Aye.
welcome back to Strong Opinion Hibs. This is number 25, and I'm Charlie, and as always, I'm joined by Calvin. How you doing, Calvin?
Doing well, mate. Doing well. Nice to have you back.
Nice to be back. Had a good wee breakaway last week, so it was nice to see Jack filled in for me, and we're obviously delighted to announce that Jack's part of the team permanently now, bringing us weekly stuff about the women's team. So that's it's a welcome addition to be, I think, the only Hibs podcast that features a segment on the women's team each week. So I'm delighted with that. So welcome to the team, Jack. So a big episode this week, mate. We've got 3 games to look at, 2 from last week and 1 for this week. So the first place we'll start is obviously the disappointment last Thursday in Croatia. So we obviously got beat 4-1 on the night from Rijeka, and that's us out of the Conference League. So what's your thoughts, mate, based on that?
Yeah, overall, just really disappointed. I think we've only got ourselves to blame, unfortunately, for the defeat there. It's hard to really be too critical, but overall, just really disappointed because I thought they were a bang average side. I don't think they were a better team than us by any stretch of the imagination, although the scoreline really does suggest that. But it was a much closer tie than I thought it was a much closer tie, and I thought, we should have. They were definitely there for the taking in the first round, and we should have beat them. We should have been 3 or 4 up. I mean, the chances we missed. There was a few cutbacks in the first half that just went straight down the middle of the goalie, and then Daniel Mackay misses that chance at the end, and we give away a poor goal. You can't know when you're home games and expect to get far. Do you know what I mean? But I did go over there with a bit of belief. I knew it was going to be tough, and I knew that the shoe would have been on the other foot. We'd have been on the back foot in that. But overall, just disappointed, and obviously put out a tweet saying like, it's just the same as the cup final. What I meant by that is I meant you expect so much, or you hope for so much, and it's the same feeling of disappointment. Like, I expected to win at least the semi-final or the cup final, and unfortunately we're on the wrong end of two of those results. We lost the semi-final to St Johnstone, we lost the cup final to St Johnstone, and then we've just went and lost our European tie. So all that hard work last season just to be pumped out at more or less the second stage, which is disappointing because I think we could have done something in that Conference League had we got a bit further. I think the group stages I thought was achievable. So I just disappointed overall, mate. But well, it is what it is. I'm not going to greet about it.
I thought when we got the equaliser, we were probably the team that was more likely to win last week.
Definitely.
It's just a stupid mistake for Darren McGregor to get himself sent off, and then we seem to just fall apart. I'm not in the business of slating Hibs players by any stretch of the imagination, but I think Darren McGregor's the reason why we're out. To be honest, I think I was just frustrating. We were in the ascendancy, and then just things fell apart. And you can't go down to 10 men away from home and expect to get anything out of that. Especially, like you say, mate, we had so many chances in the first leg. We said it on the night that we could have easily been 5 or 6-0 up going over to Croatia. The amount of chances that we had. I'm disappointed more than anything because I like yourself, I thought we could have got to the groups. I think Rijeka aren't better than Hibs in my opinion. He has 4-1 comfortably on the night, but had we stayed level at 1-1, I think we would have won it. And had we stayed 10 men on the park, I think we would have won it. But I think we'll move past it, and we'll hopefully be back there next year. And we just need to focus on the league now, league and the cups, which I think is a good thing because we've not got the squad depth to play Thursday, Sunday. So I think it's maybe a blessing in disguise that we're out. But obviously, I wanted him to do well in Europe, but hopefully it comes in our favour. So I
think the disappointing thing for me is the fact that this squad is good enough to go down in the history books as having achieved something. I know they achieved 3rd place, which was obviously a lot of progress on where we've been, but I feel like this team with this squad is good enough to get their name on a piece of silverware, or be the first team in a long time that would get Hibs to the group stages. I just felt we had that in us. This squad, I feel like there's something special, and I don't want it to be like I don't want this squad to be a missed opportunity, because I think right now we're actually a very strong team, and I think we just need to capitalise on it. Like something's going to come good pretty soon, I hope.
I hope so too, mate. I know I've seen people blaming Jack Ross on Twitter, and people blaming the team, but I actually think that don't think I blame Jack Ross for it, to be honest. I think we're obviously missing Hanlon and Doige, and that's when it really shows how paper thin our squad is if we get an injury. So I think
I always think Scott Allen's a big miss.
Aye, you're right. Scott Allen is a big miss, and I think I wonder if something to do with the heat, being 30 degrees over there with his heart condition might have played into that. Or
I think it was, aye.
But we moved past it, mate. I think it was good to see us get through a round, and frustrating to go out. But I think it's progress. I think it's a building block for next year to learn from that and take it into Europe next year. So, aye, all in all, disappointing, but we move on for it. So we then on Sunday there we had another relatively big game against Killie, which we won 2-0. So if you were to sum it up in one word, mate, how would you describe
it? Professional. I think it was obviously hard coming off of the back of a defeat, and I think the squad probably were a bit down from that, and obviously took a bit of backlash on Twitter and that. So I think it was quite professional. Potential banana skin, because Killie are probably a Premiership quality side, but it was just good we didn't slip up against them, and it was good that we managed to go out there, get a good result. 2-0 is a good result, and get ourselves through to the next round. So I was really pleased with that. But I think I was still a bit deflated from Thursday night, if I'm honest with you. I felt a bit deflated myself, so I wasn't too engaged.
Aye, no, I agree, mate. Obviously, I was on holiday, so I never got the opportunity to watch Thursday or Sunday. But I was texting Jack a wee bit at half time, and he was saying that the first half would just look flat. We're very difficult to watch, but if it's good to see that we got the job done in the end, and dispatched Killie. Better luck next time, and we're into the next round. So, what was your thoughts on the starting 11, mate? It was the same team that played on Thursday. Do you think that was the right move from Jack Ross, or were you surprised by that?
No, I think we're obviously carrying a few injuries, So we've obviously, McGregor started centre back again alongside Porteous. McGinn right back, Doig left back. You've got Doyle, Hayes, and Newell in the middle. Boyle, McGuinness, Murphy, Nisbet. Listen, it's a strong squad. I think Thursday, as disappointing as it was, I think it was just a slip up, and I think the red card changes the game. So I don't know what changes it could have really made, because like I said, I think Kilmarnock could have probably been a potential banana skin, because although they're down in the Championship, they're still a good side, and they've still got a lot of good players, like SPL caliber players. So I think it was the right thing to do, starting a strong team again, the same team. I don't think there's any changes I would have made, except from maybe giving Scotty Allen a little bit of game time over Joel Newell. Just a personal thing. I prefer Scott Allen over Joel Newell. I think Scott Allen's probably one of the best talents I've seen at Easter Road. So anytime he's available, I do like to see him play. But other than that, mate, I can't really see where you could argue for any other changes.
Aye.
What about yourself?
The only one I probably would have done is give Dabrowski a run out.
A cup goalie.
I think he just needs game time, mate. I think he's obviously he's young. I think he's like 22, 23. So I think at this age for a keeper, you need to be playing. So I would have give him the run out. But apart from that, we're obviously missing Doige. Hanlon, wasn't really sure if he was fit enough, or but Aye.
I took 2 head knocks in the 1 week last week, so he wasn't up for much handling. But maybe he started Macy just to try and get some consistency amongst that back four. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't know how long we're going to be playing that with how serious Hanlon's injury is, and hopefully we're going to bring someone else in during the window. But he's probably just put Macy in there for some sort of consistency.
Aye, that's what I thought when I seen it. Like it's I mean, it's like you say, it's a strong team. You know, that's
Yeah,
probably maybe replace McGregor with Hanlon, and you know, that's probably our strongest team when you can interchange Joe Newell and McGuinness with Scott Allen in there as well. That's probably, you know, that's probably the best team that we can probably put
it
out.
is.
So
There'll be a lot of teams in the SPL that would want that as their starting 11. Do you know what I mean? So you can't even complain with that. It's a fantastic, it's a good team they've got out there.
I
Aye.
completely agree, mate. Do you think 2-0 was a fair result?
Yeah, I think we're a class above Kilmarnock for sure. We're definitely a better team, and I think 2-0 is probably just a generally solid, football and sort of scoreline. 1-0 is a bit touch and go, but I think 2-0 sort of cements a decent victory. 3-0, 4-0, anything like that, sort of a wee bit of a master stroke of class. But no, I think 2-0 is probably a reasonable result. Got us through to the next round, so there's no stressy.
Aye.
No problem with that, no.
No, I think 2-0 was probably the fairest result. You know, Kelly had a few chances that Macy done well to save. So I was happy with that. And McGuinness scores a game, mate. He seems to have found that scoring touch.
Exactly. It's nice to see that there's more goals coming throughout the squad. So there's more players chipping in. And it's good. It's good to see, mate. It's really good to see. I think it's been a while since we've really had a sort of goal scoring midfielder.
Aye.
I've had a busy day, so I'd be struggling to sort of, off the top of my head, pick the last sort of goal scoring midfielder I can think of. Perhaps John McGinn.
Or Stevie Mallon, probably.
Stevie Mallon, although the short time he was there and how many games he actually played. But yeah, it's good to have that because I think you need to be competitive, i.e. in Europe or in the league, up the top end of the league, competing for that third spot. You need goals from around the team as well. So not just the strikers, because it's obviously a long season and the more folk can chip in and help out in that, it's really good to have.
Totally.
So I delighted. He's been a lot better than what I thought he was going to be. I mean, he made us a couple of sub appearances last year, and I wouldn't say I was too impressed with him. I thought he looked a bit lightweight and a bit a man down almost when he came on last season. Maybe a bit unfair to say, but that's how I felt. But this season he's like a new signing, which is great. So I'm really pleased with him in the squad. Seems to be popping up at the right time and really making a name for himself, which is great.
I think last season I know he struggled with COVID. I know he had that and then was getting over that cruciate ligament injury. But you're right, mate. When he did, I think he was playing in a wrong position as well. When Jack Ross played him, he was playing sort of like left side of the pitch. It's more of a, as we've seen this season, he's more of an attacking box to box midfielder. So it's nice to see him in his regular position that he played at St Mirren, and he's coming up with the goals, which can't really ask for much more from a midfielder, eh?
No, not at all. It's good. It's good stuff.
And obviously we were drawn against Dundee United for the quarterfinals, mate. So what's your early thoughts about that? Do you think it's a winnable tie?
It's definitely a winnable tie, even though it's away from home. I think Dundee United are a team that we're better than them, but we haven't always shown that in recent outings. We do sometimes make a bit of a harder game than it needs to be. Obviously, they've lost Shanklin, but I see they've got McNulty back. That doesn't worry me too much.
No.
I just think that Dundee United, we played them in the league last year at Easter Road, and we're beating them 1-0 the whole way until about the 92nd minute when they scored. So they are a team that are beatable, but they're a tricky side as well. But no, I feel pretty confident like that. I think we're a better team than them. We should be putting them away, no bother.
Aye, the only perhaps probably the worrying thing is that they've beat Rangers already this season, so they can.
That's right.
They can turn their game on, but I think with a big travelling Hibs support, I think we should have enough. Not that supporters win you games, we saw that last week when Steven Gerrard was calling for the Ibrox crowd and they got pumped off Malmo. So, crowd doesn't win you games, but I think big away support for Hibs. Players will be right up for it. A chance to get back to Hampden and right the wrongs for last year. Hopefully, I think it's going to go in our favour, mate. I think it's a winnable tie, and I think we will win it and get through to the semis.
Yeah, I feel the same.
So, Calvin, we're away this Sunday. It's funny that we're playing Sunday. Must be for the TV, but we're away to Dundee to play Dundee, who are sitting 11th place after the first couple of games with 1 point. So, what's your thoughts going into that, mate? Do you think it's another one we should be winning comfortably like Killie, or how are you viewing this one?
Yeah, it's definitely, obviously they've just come up for the championship and that, Dundee's a team that we should be beating if we're serious about competing in that third place. These are the type of games we need to win. And I think it's the type of games we were good at winning in last year. So I would definitely need to win it, mate. Definitely.
I agree. I think it's a winnable game. I don't really make much of Dundee, to be honest. I think they're definitely a team that we need to be on our guard playing, because they've beat us before when we expect it. So I think it's definitely one that we should be treat them with a bit of respect as always and just see the job out. I think we're much better away from home than we are at home. So I think we'll get the job done. So do you think it'll be the same 11 that started against Killie, obviously having a week break in between games?
I do, as I said, they might make a few changes, but no, I imagine that'll be the team for the majority of the season. I think they'll try and the only changes I could possibly see them making would maybe be bringing Stevenson in to give, for whatever reason, I don't know, because I'd start Doig if Doig was fit. But I mean, there's some changes you could argue, you could see why they might do it just to rest players, but obviously swapping Doig for Stevenson, perhaps putting Scott Allen on instead of Newell or something like that. I don't think Jamie Gillan will start, but I'd like to see him feature in the second half or something. Like if this goes similar to the Ross County game, where we do go 1-0 up, 2-0 up, 3-0 up, we start to experiment a bit more. I think it's a type of game where that could have the potential to do that if we do go and take an early lead. But I also think this is the type of game where you want to get there and you want to make sure you get 3 points and get back up the road, because I think this is we're in good form at the moment, and I think this is a good opportunity to pick up as many points as we can at the start of the season. That will come in handy later on. So any slip-ups and things like that now wouldn't be great. I'd like to see us, put out our strongest team and get through this one again.
Aye, totally, mate. I think the only maybe change I would say is maybe bringing Hanlon back in if he's fit. I think he'll come back in if he's fit, he's playing. And that's really, like you say, maybe Stevenson as well. But I mean, the team really picks itself just now, Like we're in good form, so why change it? In my opinion, so I think
Ross has found sort of something that works for him, and I think the majority of fans are really happy with it as well. I think they do look good. So it's good football to watch. We're playing well. We're getting the ball down and passing it a lot. There's not really any long ball stuff, so it's enjoyable to watch. The team's good, so I think he'll stick with it.
Aye, that's the type of football I want to see for Hibs. Like you were saying, passing, moving, wee bit fast pace about them and playing out for the back as well. I like that. Obviously, it caught us out last week in Rijeka, but I think it's good to watch Hibs play nice free flowing football. It reminds me a wee bit of the Stubbsy era, where Stubbs like to play that kind of quick moving ball. So I think it should be a comfortable win for Hibs. And what's your score prediction, mate? If you had to pick one,
I'll go 2-1 Hibs. No, I didn't even think of that guy saying that. I'll change it because of that. I'll change it. I'll say 3-1 Hibs.
I think it'll be 3 or 4-1 Hibs. I think we'll just go there and we'll do a number on them. Because to be honest, mate, I don't really know who Dundee got their point against, but
St Mirren in the first game of the season, 2-2.
So I think Dundee leaked goals from what I can remember for obviously the 2 against St Mirren, and then I think they lost by a few the next week. So
they got beat 6-0 Celtic.
You're right. Sorry, aye.
And they got beat 6-2 the year before by Hearts, so they do leak quite a few goals, but that's probably something they've addressed coming up to the Premiership, and especially after that hiding for Celtic.
I think we're probably playing them at a good time though after getting beat 6-0. I think they're probably going to come out and probably. I would imagine they'd maybe attack a wee bit more to try and rectify that. So that could play
potentially. Aye,
we're a good team on the counter. So, I think I'll go 4-1. I'll go 4-1 Hibs.
Mind you, they did just beat Motherwell last week in the League Cup, so they are, they're one of those teams that are definitely bottom six, but they have the potential for a surprise result every now and then, and they've got some good players as well, mate. Like Cummins will definitely be up for this game.
Aye.
Jason Cummins, we all know him well, and he's a big game player. He's a big game player. He used to always show up against the big teams like Hearts, Celtic, Rangers. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did show up. It'd be interesting to see what he would do if he scored. Because I think his relationship with Hibs has been a bit shaky ever since he left. Obviously leaving us to go to Rangers, go down south, and we were all delighted. Well, not delighted, but we're happy for him that he got a move in that, but we'd have rather kept him. And that obviously didn't work out. Then he made his way up to Rangers, and you know how we all feel about them. So he wasn't really well received there. And then there's been a lot of speculation about him going back to Hearts and things like that. And I seen he was at the Rangers Real Madrid game the other week there. So he a bit of a sketchy character, right? No really floating around a lot of teams I didn't really like. So it'll be interesting to see if he does score. Ken, has he got to be jumping and celebrating, or how does he feel about Hibs? It's quite interesting, actually. I'm not sure, because he's a player. Ken, it's an unpopular opinion, but the boy can score, and I'd take him back at the stage we're at, because we're obviously lacking up front at the moment, mate. What's your thoughts?
I think, I think Cummins would do a job for Hibs again. I do think his time at Hibs is gone though. I don't think he would ever come back. But if he did come back, I think he'd do well. That's for sure. I think he'd score a barrel load for us. But I think, if the opportunity came up, I think he'd come back. But I don't know if we'll ever have him back at Hibs.
I think we've got the better striker anyway, Kevin. Oh,
definitely. But you're right, though. We are light on strike options, so if it does come to it that we do look at him, then hopefully he'd come back. But I don't.
How do you feel about him in general? Like I used to love him, mate. He used to score against Hearts and Rangers and that all the time, and it was like, when he scored against Hearts and the way he used to celebrate in that, like I used to love it. Remember he scored against them and he'd done the lift in the cup like that. I liked that a lot. It was brilliant. But he played quite an important role, obviously, in us winning the cup and that. So he is a legend for that. But at the same time, like, no Keenan, I'm going to the Huns, eh?
I like Cummins as a player. I think he's got a bit of a personal life, like a wee bit like Griffiths, in terms of you didn't know what character you're getting when you get him.
Aye.
And obviously the stuff with Griffiths that's going on just now, it's probably better not to speak about that on the podcast. But I'm not a huge fan of him as a person, but as a footballer, natural born finisher. So you don't get much better than that. And another ex-Hibs player that's playing for Dundee is Liam Fontaine. Do you think we'll see much of him on Saturday?
He's a player that I do like. I do like Fontaine. The Fontaine and knowledge and all that was class, and I like. We spoke about it before in the podcast. I liked how he bought into Hibs. Like he bought into the whole culture. Like he wrote a song about Hibs, Ken, on his guitar. He used to play on his guitar. So, Fontaine, he's Hibs through and through. Did he sign for County beforehand? I think he went to Ross County, and I think he got 32 as a short number.
That's right.
So he's a good guy. Like, I've got a lot of time for Fontaine. So I'm not sure if we'll much of him because I don't actually know. Should have done a wee bit of research beforehand. See how often he plays for Dundee because he must be getting on a wee bit now.
He must be pushing mid-30s, surely.
So I don't know if he's got to be. I mean, is he one of their starting centre backs, or is he more of a coach? Sorry, no coach, but maybe like a wee bit more laid back. I'll just check for you. He's not really in and about the team for what I can see here.
I don't think he'll play. I think he's.
Mhm.
I don't think, from what I can remember, I don't think he gets much game time. But I'd assume he'll come out and clap the Hibs fans if he's warming up or whatever. But it's strange seeing him play for someone else. I think he's a good player, so hopefully
Aye.
he's not very happy come 3 o'clock on Sunday. Hopefully we've put a few past Dundee. So,
I totally agree. Ex-Hibs manager as well, James McPake. What's your thoughts?
James McPake, aye.
Jazza.
He's all right, aye. I wasn't very keen on him when he was Hibs player, but I think he's done well for Dundee to get them up. So well done to him, and I think he's got a big task on his hands, keeping them in the division. I think.
Aye.
I think they're a shoe in for the drop, or 11th. I don't think they'll finish much higher than 11th.
Aye, they will. Well, I didn't mind him as much. They're all right. I hope he does well. I sort of fell out of love with him a wee bit when he left Hibs, and I just thought he was, a bit of a bottler. But I actually listened to his interview on Open Goal. If you've not listened to that, give it a listen because it really changed my opinion of him. And if you listen to that interview, he was Hibs through and through. He bought into the club. He loved playing for the club. A lot of things that I just didn't see in some of his performances. But no, he was definitely loved playing for Hibs and that. I think he's got a soft spot for us. So no, I do like him in that, and I hope he does manage to keep them in the league. So, aye, that's my thoughts on McPake.
Aye. Do you think there's anyone in the Dundee team that might cause us a problem on Sunday?
Yeah, Cummins. I think if Cummins plays, like I said, he's a big player. He's a big game player, isn't he? So I think he could do quite well for them, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, he's always got a goal on him. They've got that Killian Sheridan as well, but I don't think he'll do too much. Other than that, mate.
The only one
that boy,
Charlie Adam.
Aye, Adam. Aye, that's right. Aye. Charlie shows your teeth. How he played for Liverpool is beyond me, eh?
Aye, that's right.
He's
always got a goal in him, but apart from that,
I
didn't make much of them, to be honest. So I think it'll be Dundee 0. It'll be how it ends. I think Dundee will struggle to get a goal, but I think it should be an easy one, eh?
We'll see what it turns out like, but it should be a Hibs win. If no, Ken, everything will go into a meltdown. It'll be Jack Ross out. So
if no, it'll be we're settling for mediocrity and all that, and the usual crap that comes out after a Hibs loss. So we'll see how it goes.
Aye.
Right. Well, we'll move into our next wee section, which is the Hibs women's preview for the weekend. And for this, Jack's recorded a video, so hope you enjoy this.
This is my first run out as the Hibs women correspondent here at the Strong Opinion Hibs podcast. I'd like to thank Charlie and Calvin for giving me this opportunity. I'm really grateful and proud to support our girls, and if I can bring in more supporters and more press with my little reports each week, then I'll know I've succeeded. We're in SWPL Cup group stage action on Sunday. We're taking on Stirling Uni, and I'll be bringing you a little preview of that. Now, obviously, in the last run out in the SWPL Cup, we played Kilmarnock at Volunteer Park and beat them 4-0. A pretty routine performance there, a pretty routine win, and a very confident performance from the girls. It was great football to watch, very professional performance out of the girls there to get a good 4-0 win, kick us off right in the SWPL Cup group stage. That's obviously us got our first 3 points. Now, we were meant to be playing Forfar Farmington last week there, but unfortunately Forfar have folded and have withdrawn from all SWPL Cup competitions. That's never nice to see, and my thoughts go out to all the staff, players and supporters out at Forfar Farmington. Hopefully Forfar Athletics step in and help out, because like I said, it's never nice for a club to fold. Now, moving on to the game against Stirling Uni, we should be able to get a confident win against Stirling Uni. We're playing at home, so that's an advantage straight away. Plus, Stirling Uni as a university team don't have the resources, facilities or players that we do, so there is a sort of gulf in class. I don't want to give Stirling Uni too much disrespect. They are one of the better university sides within the Scottish women's football pyramid. Obviously playing in the SWPL too, that's quite a good level for them to be playing at. They are expected to be down there, sort of struggling and they might get relegated to the SWF Championship, the women's third division. So they are a sort of lower half of the table side in the SWPL 2, but still a very well established side in there. So I do think they'll give us a game, but in the end we should get a confident win. Obviously we'll have another debut. Tony, another American player, she's finally come over to Scotland. So hopefully Tony will be starting on Sunday. She looks like a fantastic player, and it will be good to see Tony play and bring her experience over. She's played in Austria before, so to bring that sort of experience over from the continent where women's football is sort of more advanced than it is here in Scotland will be great to see, and it will be great to see the lessons she learnt in Austria and how she transfers them onto the pitch as a player. So hopefully Tony starts. Apart from that, it should just be the lineup we had out against Kilmarnock. We're in a pretty strong place right now in terms of squad depth, so Dean's got plenty to pick from. So hopefully we play the same side, but it would be good to see any of our players play, because we've got so many fantastic players on the bench as well that Dean can pick from. So we're in a good place depth-wise, like I was saying. So I think it will, like I said, it will be confident. Still, will give us a game, but in the end, we'll have too much for them. So I'm going to go with a score prediction. I'm going to say 6-0 Hibs. I'm going to say Alexa will score a hat-trick, Tony will get a brace, and then Amy Gallagher will get our final goal. So that's what I'm going to say, 6-0 Hibs, because like I said, Stirling Uni will give us a game, but I think they'll tire quite quickly, because again, as a university team, their fitness levels won't be as good as us as a top sort of SWPL side. So that's another reason sort of going for such a big scoreline is their fitness levels. We'll probably have too much for them. They'll probably come out strong, give us a good game in the first half, and then tire out, and we'll just get in there and get the job done. So fingers crossed. Now Stirling Uni lost 7-1 to Dundee United in their last game, so that's another reason why I'm going for such a big scoreline, because obviously Dundee United are an SWPL 2 side as well, so if they're losing 7-1 to an SWPL 2 side, then what's going to happen when they play us? So hopefully we get a big result, because Dundee United have a huge goal difference after they beat Forth for 10-0 in their opening game, so hopefully we can take some goals off of Stirling Uni, improve the goal difference and jump Dundee United to top of the group. It'd be good to go out the group top. Now, a win against Stirling Uni, depending on how other results go, would more or less secure our progression into the next round of the competition. Obviously, we're holders, like I was saying when I did my review of the Kilmarnock game, so we should be aiming to get to at least the semi-finals of the final this season. Hopefully, we can defend our title and lift the SWPL Cup. It is going to be a huge mountain to climb, obviously, with Celtic being impressive as they are, and Glasgow, and also Rangers are on the rise as well. So it will be a big ask, but I do think we can do it. So let's get a nice confident win against Stirling Uni. Like I said, 6-0 Hibs, not 2-1 Hibs, 6-0 Hibs against Stirling Uni. Get a nice confident result, get through and start focusing on the next rounds. Then we can start sort of focusing on the start of our SWPL campaign as well.
Well, thanks for that, Jack. Hopefully Hibs do the business on Stirling Uni this weekend, and delighted to, as I said earlier, delighted to have Jack part of the podcast team now, providing a weekly update on the Hibs women's team. So we'll move into our second last section for the week, Calvin. It's the kit numbers, and obviously being number 25, we're looking at number 25. So I'll start off. We're running through the list, then we can chat maybe a wee bit about some of the players on it. So at number 25, since 2000, we've had Kevin McDonald, Humphrey Rudge, Kevin McCann, Darren McCormack, David Stevens, Richie Towell, Mark Oxley, Adam Eckersley, Conrad Logan, F.A. Ambrose, Ryan Porteous, and Josh Doig.
A bit of a mixed list, isn't there? I'm sure that Adam Eckersley used to be a Jambo. Was he not play for Hearts as well?
He did play for Hearts, aye.
So I don't think he actually ever made an appearance for Hibs.
I think
he might have made one.
Yep, Max, I'd say.
Nah, he didn't. Nah, so he's straight off the list for me, associated with him in any way, shape or form.
Aye.
It's between Logan or Ambrose. I liked Ambrose just for the banter, and I actually thought he was a really good player. Another player though who I think thought the grass was greener and moved into Derby and obviously ended up at Livingston, so that one didn't work out. I'm going to go Cup hero Conrad Logan, the polar bear.
Aye. this is a funny list, eh? Like if you look at like Humphrey Rudge, he was a sort of he wasn't very great at Hibs, but most people liked him for some reason. I can't remember much of him. And then Darren McCormack, there's that infamous story where he broke someone's jaw in John Street. So, and then I think he got sent off in a derby for sticking the head on someone, if I remember rightly as well. So he's high up on my list for that.
I know his dad pretty well. I like that. I do like him. Like,
I think for me it's got to be F.A. Ambrose. Conrad Hogan, cup hero, but I think F.A. Ambrose was just had the cigar out every single game for Hibs. It was just a solid defender. I wish we never let go. I mean, he was one of my favourite players in that team. And
yeah, I agree with you.
I think he was probably underappreciated by a lot of Hibs fans because I think he was cool as you like on the ball and he didn't really mess about. So I'll go F.A.
He had his bomb scare moments, like.
Oh, aye.
But everyone knew that's just F.A. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. But I know.
So that wasn't too bad, but aye.
I think Logan and Ambrose are probably the two better ones out of that list at that number because Porteous is better at number 5 and Doig's, Doig's only been here one season, so I can't really say he's high on that list so far. But aye, so there we are. Kit numbers are done for this week, and we'll move into the last wee section, which is the listener questions. 4 good questions this week. So first one comes from Jack. He says, should young lads like Josh Campbell get chances in the cup competitions? So we'll move into the last wee section, which is the listener questions. And 4 good questions this week, Calvin. And the first one's from Jack. And he says, should the young boys like Josh Campbell get chances in the cups?
Well, aye. Depends what stage we're at. Obviously, depends who we're drawn against as well. But I think when Josh Campbell's played so far, I don't think he's done anything, that would oust him of his. I don't think he's done anything that would suggest that he can be a starter. But I also didn't think he's done anything that you'd think is a complete bomb scare.
Aye.
But the young laddies need to get a game at some point. And this is the frustrating thing of the last couple of years. I mean, the likes of Ollie Shaw, can we train up these guys and we give them away, and it's to the the benefit of another club. So for example, you've done it with Ollie Shaw, Fraser Murray that's now at Kilmarnock. We didn't really get a shot. We didn't really get to see the benefits of the training they've went through with him. So I think they need to play somewhere. But I also think, now ask the question, is he going to play against Dundee United? Probably not. If we get through against Dundee United, and we're drawn against an Aberdeen, Celtic, Rangers, something like that, is he going to play? Probably not. Do you know what I mean? So I think if he was in the team sheet, I think a few Hibs fans would be asking questions if he was, say, starting against Dundee United. I think a few folk would thinking, oh, we need to go with our strongest team and whatever, which is correct. So I do think they need game time somewhere, but where, I'm not sure. I mean, is it the reserves? Is it a sub appearance? I think definitely if we're 2-3-0 up like we were against Ross County, I think that's the time to bring young lads like that on for a bit of experience. But no, what's your thoughts on that, mate?
I agree, definitely, mate. I think I would probably play like a Josh Campbell type of player if we got drawn against if we got in the Scottish Cup, if we get drawn against a team for League 2, 100% for the young boys. As well as the first team to give them. But you're right, if we're playing Dundee United, we didn't give the young boys a game. You've got to go with the strongest team. And if we get to the final, you're right, if Hibs fans would be moaning like, oh, why is Josh Campbell starting? We should be playing someone in his position,
Aye.
So it's a hard one. And you're right, if we are 3-0 up on Ross County or teams like teams that we maybe are 3-0 up against, then you bring them on for the last half hour because the game's won. We're not season 3 this season many times, I think, anyway. So I wouldn't risk them in the bigger stages of the cups, but maybe if we get pluck a name out of thin air, if we get a Queen in the South for a team like Queen's Park or someone like that, then you play the younger boys, but no at the latter stages of the competition. Anyway, for me. Anyway.
I agree with you there.
So next question comes from Paul Mackay, and this is in light of the rejected bid that we have had for Aberdeen. for Martin Boyle, and he says, "What can you realistically buy for £500,000?"
It's a lot of things, eh?
Aye.
I tell you what, isn't one of them, Martin Boyle.
You could probably buy Martin Boyle's diving board for that, as some people.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. No, I just think that was such a cheeky offer. And I wouldn't do business with them again for a long time. I think they can go take a run and jump, because that was really cheeky what they put in there for Boyle. Boyle's worth, I would say, at least £1.5 million.
Oh, I'd argue
2 million, 3 million. You know, I just think he's arguably one of the best players. He's definitely one of the best players in the league, and I think he'd get into most teams in the division.
I think he's the best player outside the Old Firm.
Aye, he is 100%. I also think, like I've said it I've been banging on it for months on the podcast, Ken. If Scotland hadn't snubbed him and he'd pledged his allegiance to Australia, I mean, he could easily be in that Scotland team. Ken, he's got pace, he's got good awareness. You know, he can finish. He's a bit versatile in terms of positions he can play. He's up for the Australian Player of the Year. Do you know what I mean? It can't be that bad. If I had half my, I'd probably buy another house or something, eh? Or I'd buy a car, or maybe another dog. I'd go on holiday. That's what I'd do if I had £500,000. I'd go on holiday for a very long time. What about yourself?
Everything that you've listed there, mate. Probably invest a wee bit
in a striker.
Buy a striker. I'd probably give a wee bit to Hibs as well. But I wouldn't be getting a sniffy Martin Boyle for £500,000. Aberdeen, what are they playing it with that offer? Like that's Celtic and Rangers of the years past. It's so disrespectful, if anything. Like Martin Boyle's worth 10 times that.
Right, easy. It's a piss take, really. It's a joke. Like, they can go and do one. The only sort of thing they had going for them there is the fact he's from Aberdeen, so I think he's an Aberdeen fan.
Aye.
But nah, no thanks.
I've read also that Hibs are trying to tie him down to a new contract as well after giving him one last season to sort of end that rumour. So hopefully that happens, and you can £500,000. Take yourself away with that. Anyway, moving on to the next one. This one's from Sarah, and it says, "Which kit sponsor has been your favourite for Hibs?"
I think for me, probably the White and Mackay when they had it in the blue box. That was quite smart. It's 2006 era. That was smart. Thank you, NHS one's a good one. Carlsberg was good. I like the Carlsberg sponsor. What about yourself?
For me, only really one realistic one. It's probably Marathon Bet, because we won the cup with it.
Oh yeah, true.
So I know Marathon Bet was red, white, and blue and whatever, but when we won the cup, it was just a plain white. So I think it's got to be Marathon Bet,
fair enough.
I did like Macbean when we had that top behind you, mate. I really like.
That's right.
With the Buckner top, so that's a close second. So but Marathon Bet wins it just purely because we won the cup with it.
Hard to argue.
Know that we're using the cup as the comfort blanket, but
I can.
What's that now? 60 years since Hearts last won the League Cup, but I'm not mentioning that on the podcast. But there we are, 60 years since you last won that. So last question.
The longest cup drought in Edinburgh.
Longest one in Edinburgh. Get it right up. Anyway, last question this week comes from Daniel, and he says, "If the SPL bans green kits like Serie A has, and Hibs had to change their colour from green, which colour would you make our kits? And they can't be yellow or purple."
Do you go first?
Black.
Just go black.
Oh, just black and white, mate. So it's so no one, because you can't have red.
Oh, what, St Mirren? We take their strips and no.
Aye, black and white stripes.
Aye, exactly.
You can't have red. You can't have blue. You can't have orange. You can't have purple, can't have yellow, so you're probably just going to go white and black, eh?
I maybe go like Miami Dolphin teal. If I could get that.
Aye, that's a shout.
Could I get that? Maybe that. We have strokey mint. Does mint count? I'd take that. I'd probably just go Miami Dolphins teal. That's quite smart.
Aye.
Probably the closest I could get. Alright, if I just go St Mirren. St Mirren, black and white, that'd be cool.
We've taken their manager, their captain, their best midfielder. What next? Their kits. That'll do.
Exactly, aye.
Well, that brings us to a close on episode number 25. And it's been a shorter one than normal, but it's been a good one nonetheless. And we'll be back next week to review the Hibs' hopeful win against Dundee and the women's game against Stirling with Jack. Brings us an RB video segment. So until next week, see you soon. And he told me when he watched the Hibs, he never felt the